Hi, my name is Ms. Venus Marie and I would like to welcome you to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to become a registered nurse. Two routes that you can take. There's an associate's degree RN and there's also a bachelor's degree RN. The first things we're going to talk about is the associate's degree RN. The associate's degree RN is a 2-year program depending on the school. Basically, you can take a accelerated amount of courses and you can end up as a registered nurse. You'll still take your Nclex based off of whatever prerequisites the school requires. The route that I took was the 4-year bachelor's in nursing. With that, you have to complete a total of 4 years of college and you have to be accepted into a program within your university. The bachelor's degree program basically is the same way the associate's degree RN is, where you have to take the Nclex RN. So the route that I took after I graduated from high school, I made sure that I had the best grades possible to get into a university. However, even though I graduated with like a 4.0 GPA my senior year in high school, I still did not get into the university of my choice. So I basically applied to a community college, which later turned out to actually be a really smart choice considering that I was out of state. With the out-of-state tuition, I actually saved a lot of money and was able to continue and graduate. I made sure that I matched my prerequisites that I needed to get into the school of my choice. So for example, Florida A&M required a certain amount of prerequisites to get into their university. Some schools don't require microbiology, Florida A&M did. Some schools don't require organic chemistry, Florida A&M did. So that's just an example of courses that you might want to look at to make sure that you compare what's required and what's not required, so that way you can make sure you're not spending extra money to get in, and also making sure that you're not falling short of those prerequisites that are needed. So once I graduated with my associate's degree, I took a different route than a lot of people take. I became an LPN first. With an LPN, just so I can explain to you the tier of nursing, you have a CNA at the bottom, and then you have an LPN, which is a licensed practical nurse, and then you have a registered nurse as an associate degree, and then you have a registered nurse with a bachelor's degree, and then you have a nurse practitioner, and then finally you have a physician. So with that being said, also I want to clarify that the associate's degree and the bachelor's degree nursing, you can still qualify to get the same job as anyone else. The main difference is the manager position, which would be known as a charge nurse. Mainly if you're considering continuing your education to become a nurse practitioner, which is what I'm attempting to do, then you may want to go ahead and just get that 4-year degree out the way so you can continue to that route. It'll be more difficult if you continue to take sporadic breaks through each time. So could you imagine doing 2 years, taking a break, then doing another 2 years to get your bachelor's and taking a break, then finally doing your 2-3 years to become a nurse practitioner? Long term, it will benefit you just to get that 4 years out the way if you are considering becoming a nurse practitioner. Basically did a year program at a technical college, trades such as cosmetology, pharmaceutical technician, those type of things. You can do licensed practical nursing at those type of schools. While I was there, I paid out of pocket and I made sure that I really got that foundational nursing down. Also, I wasn't sure if nursing was really what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do something medical. I think that's a great first step too if you're not sure if nursing is ultimately your goal, but you still want to get your feet wet and still want to make a good amount of money. That's a great place to start, and it's not a major investment. And once I finished that, I wanted to make myself also look more lucrative to a nursing program. Also knowing that my GPA was not the bomb coming out of college, I'm like, let me make myself look better with a nursing license already. So I applied after I finished my LPN, took the LPN boards, which is the same boards for RN. It's called Nclex, but instead of Nclex RN, it was Nclex PN. And the preparation for that is slightly different. The delegation is different for LPNs than RNs. And what you can do under your scope of practice is also different for LPNs than it is for RNs. And just to kind of explain to you what that means is a CNA can't do the same things that an RN can do, and an LPN can't do the same things that an RN can do, just like an RN can't do the same things a doctor can do. Also, once I graduated as an LPN, I applied to Florida A&M's nursing program, and I used that as a tool to make my application stand out. And I also made sure that when I had my university interview into the nursing program, made sure that I mentioned that I was an LPN already, because I had already passed the Nclex PN, that I had an advantage over other students in preparation for passing the Nclex RN, since I had already had exposure to the exam. And might I say that the professors' faces lit up. They were like, oh wow. And you know, any type of accredited university and accredited nursing program, which is something you should be looking at, is going to be worried about their test scores. And you should also investigate the nurse pass rate percentage of that school, because if they're at risk for losing their accreditation, you will not be able to sit for Nclex, and most importantly, you won't be able to get a lucrative job. So make sure that you're applying to a school that has all of their accreditations and have a really good pass rate, because that means that they're really doing their job to prepare you as a future nurse for Nclex and for your nursing career. Right before I graduated, I had to take a Nclex Prep course. So during my program was 2.5 years. Mine ended up being 3 years because I actually failed pharmacology and I failed my leadership course. And within that program, if you failed 2 classes, you were kicked out. I was on a plane to LA and I looked at my grades and it said D and D. And in nursing school, you're required to have at least a C, at least at my program. So when I saw that, I literally broke down and said, what am I going to do? I'm supposed to be a nurse and I don't want to start all over. I'm in my 2nd semester. I have 3 more to go. It was already difficult to get into a program, let alone trying to find another program within such a small city. That means I would possibly have to relocate, and I wasn't trying to do all that. I actually appealed that failed class to the dean, specifically my leadership course, because the teacher ended up quitting prior to the exam. So I used that to my advantage, and thankfully the dean was able to pass me and I was able to continue throughout the curriculum. At that point, your girl was not playing no more. Like, well, let me buckle down all the way and make sure that I take this a lot more serious than I did, because I'm not gonna lie, I did have that arrogance where, like, I'm an LPN, I've already been exposed to this, you know, I do this. But in reality, I needed to humble myself and know that this is a whole different area of nursing. I need to humble myself and remember that this is something new beyond what I had already learned. So yes, I may have had a lot more foundational things than other people did. I had to remember that I was still learning something new. So I had to humble myself very quickly. And trust me, I was humbled to the lowest point of humbleness. Okay? Okay? So once I was able to continue throughout the program, there was time for an exit exam. Each program should have an Nclex preparation course for you. My school in particular used ATI. Some programs used Hearst. Some programs also use Kaplan. I personally am not a fan of ATI. However, I just had to get through it for the program, and I needed to pass an exit exam. So once I passed the exit exam, I was super excited because I passed it on the first try. So I was ready for graduation, and I was actually feeling really good about myself because other people in my program didn't pass on the first try. And I'm not really a book smart person. I'm more of a hands-on, you show me how to do something, I can do it. But as far as textual memory, like, I'm not going to remember what chapter 4 said in the 3rd paragraph. I'm just not going to remember that. But you show me how to start something or do something, or you show me the indication of something, I'm going to remember it, and I can probably fly through it easily. So I struggled through nursing school nonetheless. Once I passed my boards and I finished, I was so happy because I finally was done with this 6-year journey, it seemed like. And then once I finished and I graduated with my bachelor's degree in nursing, I was able to sit for Nclex. I used UWorld. I actually graduated December 2018 and I took my board in February. I basically used 2 months to prepare for Nclex. I set myself on a very strict schedule to prepare, mostly because I had actually failed my Nclex PN, failed becoming an LPN twice. And I didn't want to have to go through that with RN. I was poor, I was broke, and the tests are like $150. So I didn't want to have to go through that all over again. So in addition to that, once I sat for my boards, I actually passed with a minimum of 75 questions. If you're interested in learning how I did that or want more information about how to prepare for Nclex RN, comment below and let me know if you're interested, and I'd love to make another video just to give you more information about Nclex preparation, what I used and what my schedule was like to prepare for the exam. So you can too pass with that minimum of 75 questions. Sis, you're gonna be that RN in no time, okay?